I started in the early 90s. A friend of mine, Colby, my mentor, worked for two of the top galleries in San Francisco in the 70s. He worked for this guy, William Silva and Gerald Silvar. At that time, they were some of the nation's and the world's largest galleries for fine antiques. They had all these things like signed tables from France, Italian specimen marble. Everything was signed by court-appointed cabinet makers of Louis XVI. Really a wonderful, look. I even went to San Francisco to the apartment to notice all these fabulous things. When William Silva retired, he retired with a $69 million estate in a house in Tiburon with nothing but Roman antiquities overlooking the whole ocean. It was this little tyrant guy that used to yell and scream, and my friend worked for him and drove his convertible Rolls Royce around San Francisco. Man, what a time it must have been. So anyway, he comes down in the 90s and kind of teaches me everything. I helped him move antiques, and then I'd go over, sit at his house, we'd hang out, and I'd start asking him questions, about a piece. Or why is that good? Well, what's the bronze on that? What do you mean by the gallery? What do you mean by the porcelain? And piece by piece, I ended up learning the business. And then I had an and then we started selling to the decorators and privately in the '94. And then I had an opportunity to open up my own gallery in La Jolla, in the historic Colonial Inn Hotel, an Edwardian hotel, turn of the century, around 1910, with 9 beautiful windows, very wonderful. And I filled it up with wonderful 19th, 18th century French, Italian, and English antiques. And we also did some modern things. My mom was the first archivist of Francois Gillot. She lived at Picasso from 40 to 53 and Jonas Salk. So we had all this, what I called mom's art. I grew up with it. So all these modern paintings mixed with the antiques. And actually, we're some of the first in the world to do this. Now it's been pretty popular to mix antiques with modern. We were doing this in the mid-90s. And it was a look. We really enjoyed it. So then what happened was I started doing all the trade shows, because back then the people really weren't into the antiques the way they are now. I'm going to shut this for a sec. They just really didn't, it was more of an international market. So I started doing all the trade shows in like Miami, Naples, Florida, Chicago, Pasadena, Santa Monica, Modesto for the Gallows. We did one, the wine place there. It was wonderful with, wine barrels as a backdrop. It was really neat. So I started doing all these trade shows, but then what happened was I couldn't fill up 1,000 square feet at the gallery and do the shows at the same time with 1,000 square feet of period antiques. So, and the rent was $2,300 a month, and at that time I had to literally live in the gallery and live in the car to support the antique business, because I couldn't get loans to do, the antiques. So, that's the kind of dues I had to pay. And when I would do these shows, it'd be, thousands of dollars for the hotels and the driving in the gas and all that stuff. With a gamble, you're not sure if you're going to sell anything or not, so you're speculating. So being a surfer, we'd live in the car, shower in a jacuzzi at a Hilton or something like that, and put on an Armani suit and go to work. I mean, it's fine if we were going to do $50,000, $60,000 or 40, but you don't know, and you still have to pay the promoter $2,000 at the end of the show. So we paid our dues.